You ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Welcome to Grounded Reality, where we're trying to make everything a little bit more simpler and easily digestible within the metaverse space. Today, with our good pal Harry Martin,
Hello.
Central Saint Harry Martins,
That's me.
right here.
Brilliant. It's just a slight arc back there to past history.
Five
An
years.
alternative reality in Harry's timeline.
Very much the same. That's
Who are you, Harry? What do you do? Where have you been?
I
Where
am,
have you come from?
I am Central Saint Harry Martin. I come from the same part of the North as James and Matty.
This is an
Yeah.
international podcast. Whereabouts is the
Let me specify. The north of England, specifically Blackburn and Preston.
God, I don't know.
Lancashire.
Lancashire. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Yeah. How
Proud
do we
to
know you?
represent.
How did we get to know you?
So
Where did our journey start
we met
together?
on Foundation, Blackburn Foundation, 5 years ago.
It's a long time.
Well, nearly 5. It's like 4.5.
Don't depress me.
What are you on about? That's not depressing.
I've aged.
You've grown, matured. So, yeah.
Yeah, we
We've
started there.
Aged like fine wine, haven't we, boys?
Mature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So you started there, and then you've been off. You've done your stuff.
I've been around.
You've been around. Where did you go?
There's gonna
I'm
be some
really-
things
I'm
you
really
need to
not-
cut out
I'm
of this.
really-
Yeah.
Already. He's been around. Right. He's been around.
Where did you go? What? Where did we lose you?
Well, you never lost me. I've been working with LAL Art Advisory, and I've been to London, Paris, and New York, and hopefully Lisbon next month.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. Lisbon, Portugal.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Crypto
Cool.
capital of the world.
So, yeah.
But what gives you those criterias to do that?
Oh, well, we run a crypto art advisory. So I work with art advisor Fanny Lekubai, who's been in the space for, I believe, 5 years. And we started working together just over a year ago, working with clients, corporations, startups, and artists, advising them on NFTs.
Why?
Because it's a new space and there's lots of fun stuff happening in it.
Still being defined, right?
Yes,
Still being defined, still
every
being
day.
formed.
every day.
And you are one of the pioneers.
You're the pioneers as well.
Well, we are, but, you know.
Don't give him any more ego.
Yeah, no, honestly. God, honestly. When are you going to give us some, man?
We're gonna get all of you.
No,
soon.
but like, so obviously you've been working remotely for the past year.
Yeah.
But how did you get into the space? Like, what was the journey in, and why?
A lot of luck. So I.
Oh, please.
No, but seriously,
It's
so
not
You
luck,
little
it's
grafter.
hard work,
it's an
man.
ongoing story. It's canon. So
Brilliant.
yeah. So I started working with Fanny through Telegram.
Really? Is that what it was?
Yeah, literally through Telegram. But we have a mutual friend called Matteo Tambussi who I met at an art residency in the Alps in Italy called Stonehaven House, and I met him there. He told me about the blockchain. I was doing a curation project at the time. Do you remember? It's called like Alpsa.me.
Yeah.
Was this part of that, of the Stonehouse?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It
I
had
remember the Stonehouse, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a project. I'd locate people. So I'd ask people a ton of questions, like who they are, where they come from, what they do, and then I'd make like some artwork from it, and I'd try and make like a Google map from it. And he told me I met him on the last day when I was leaving the place, and he said, "Oh, this reminds me of like profile picture projects, in like which are NFTs." And I was like, "What are those?" And they showed me OpenSea, and I wasn't fully convinced at first, but then I got convinced, and then that's how
It all started from there. But just rewind a little bit. How did you end up at Stonehouse?
I found it through Workaway, which is like if you want to do some volunteer work and have a stay at some place that you've never been to before. So I did some art, and that was how it began.
Which was through Glasgow University, which is where you went.
Glasgow School of Art.
But
Glasgow School of Art. Sorry,
you were an artist.
I was.
You now aren't.
I'm not. I'm more. I do curation, and I help collectors manage their collections for NFTs.
Did I see a tear roll from your eye?
You did.
Oh,
Just a little one.
hitting a nail.
Shut
Bloody hell.
Yeah, there are still some artistic elements to it, which I just like keeping as part of my daily life.
Yeah,
Even
a
if
hobby.
Keep it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when's the Harry Martin NFT lineup coming?
Well,
Art.
oh, that's properly 4 years ago. I used to be called Art. I'm now Mark JPEG on Twitter. You can follow me if you want. I have some NFTs that I tried making on Nunk, just like 2 of them. I'm not an artist like that, but you can collect them if you want.
Oh,
What? Sorry, what did you make them on?
I minted them on Nunk, so that's one of the NFT marketplaces you can buy NFTs from.
Right.
Sporting Tezos. So
We should definitely whip those up. It's a long-term play, Matty,
it's
but
already-
we'll whip them up.
it's already on my
yeah, we'll go through it. We'll go
Yeah.
through it.
It's already on my list.
Oh, God, it's on his list. What, to
Yeah.
buy his NFTs?
No, on the platform.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about buying them.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
What?
Long-term
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Long-term investment.
How many is there? 1.
There's like 3.
Oh, okay.
There's 3. It's not serious.
How much?
Just of 3.
Just
Of
like
1 each.
oh yeah,
How
they're all
much?
separate.
Oh,
I think I set them to like 20 Tezos. So I'm not sure how much Tezos is now, but I don't know if it's even worth much. But
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is either at the moment, to be honest.
But yeah, so obviously you've kind of given us a little bit about you. But yeah, what are you doing in the space now to like move NFTs forward? Where's it all going?
That is a great question.
It's a very open question.
I'll start with the first bit.
Yeah. Start with the start of the story.
Tell us the story. So I don't know how I can help advance NFTs in any direction, but I work on a few projects. So there's the LAL Art Advisory that I do with Fanny, and we also take part in a few projects. So the first, I'm just gonna get the thing. I don't know if this can be like zoomed in at all, but BAD, the blockchain art directory, which is coming. Shameless advertising. It's coming in mid-May. So this is going to be it. It already exists if you type in blockchain art.directory. It's an archive of just education resources and articles and interviews by artists, and not only those, but like advisors and lawyers, and just how to navigate the space, defining what an NFT is, what the metaverse is. We've got a ton of stuff, but once it's being made in mid-May, we hope to just bring all that together again, so you can go on it and just learn about NFTs.
Yeah, maybe we'll have another chat in mid-May and explore in a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
About BAD.
Well, it already
BAD.
sounds great. I mean, for us, I know that we get a lot of the questions that come up are lawyer based, so or legal based, I should say. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a rich resource, I can imagine. And with the knowledge that you guys have, there's a combination between all of you.
Well, at the minute, we're nearing the end of our series with We Are Museums, which is an organisation that works with like traditional institutions like museums. Yeah, it's in the name, isn't it? But we're doing a series for over 8 weeks called WAC Weekly, which is for arts and culture professionals wanting to learn more about exactly that, about NFTs and the metaverse. So we have some great speakers on each week. As I said, lawyers and curators, advisors, and occasionally artists. But we just cover the headlines, and it's really good. Really good.
That's really valuable for some of our current prospective clients, possibly moving into the space, and I think for a lot of them, helping to understand how they can move into the NFT space is quite valuable, especially with them kind of considering moving into these digital realms. I think NFTs for them is a
it's a big.
There's
a
negative connotations towards them.
Mm.
Well, I think
But
education is key.
Education
right?
is key.
You're trying to tick that box with what you're up to. When I say you're, I'm obviously talking broader sense. But yeah, I think education is key, and that's been reciprocated across multiple conversations we've had in group chats. I can imagine that's the case in the ones that you're part of. That education is key because there's a lot of misinformation, isn't there? Essentially.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like the more you ask the question of what an NFT is, it just becomes harder to define. So it really does, because you forget. I forget. But NFTs show proof of authenticity. They're great for tracking provenance and just who owns what at what time.
In a digital way.
In a digital way. And they don't just have to be artworks. They can be
signatures.
They can be signatures. Yeah.
Products.
Like it can be films.
Music.
Anything like PDFs or anything under the sun can be an NFT. A tweet. Yeah, that was a trend. If you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Articles as well, right?
Yeah.
Online articles.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, when I used to work with Vertical Crypto, doing articles for them, we decided to mint whatever I wrote, which was like weekly roundups, on a platform called Mirror, which
suits me.
Yeah, it allows you to just mint articles and people can buy them.
That's pretty cool
if they want. It's great. It's a new way of looking at it.
I suppose you could define that for a lot of things, couldn't you? It's a completely different way of looking at it. But so how would you define NFTs? And I think broad to that, how would you define Web 3.0?
Oh my god.
It's a very broad question, but obviously
Yeah.
NFTs sort of have that. It's an underlying element, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's one element, and it's really, again, the longer you're in this space, like the more you forget what is right. I suppose like there are NFTs, but then there are DAOs, and then there's DeFi.
Do you think that you struggle to define it because you saw on the fringes of things all the time?
Because every day's new, and there's not a lot of documentation. I suppose because everything's decentralized, it's really hard to get people to centralize and write articles, publications about the subject. But
I think that's the exciting thing about it. We all get to learn together.
Yeah.
In a way.
Beautiful.
If you can't answer what an NFT is, then could you answer where you think NFTs will become a settled thing and become common in society?
Yeah. So just a speculative thought. NFTs, because they show authenticity over whatever it is which is inside the NFT, they could be used for vouchers. You could use them to go to a museum or a concert.
So
a ticket, quite simply, for any. It has like loads of use cases. If something's so abstract and versatile, then it has like more than a dozen use cases.
Sure. So it's not just restricted to creative.
Not at all.
Elements.
No.
But obviously that's what the public see, because that is what the public are presented with. But
I suppose
I think that's it's the key thing about educating people. It's like people are misinformed in a way to the potential that it can grow to, and I think even just delving into some of those topics, it opens people's minds to what
I don't blame
possibilities are.
I mean, I don't blame people, because you're bombarded with information about the ecological consequences of NFTs. You're like just the amount of money that's being made by certain artists.
Yeah.
Just very certain artists.
Did you meet one?
I looked at him. I looked at people.
Oh, yeah. I've done that as well, but I've done it through a screen.
Oh wow! My bad sticker.
But you had like 3-dimensionality to it, didn't you?
Yeah.
You saw height, everything.
Yeah, that was fascinating because it was at this small gallery. I can't actually remember it's called David Dale. David Dale. Of course, I could disclose it.
I don't know if it's secret VIP.
It's called It was called The Uncertain Future, I think was the show.
Cool.
And
nice.
You just walk in, and there's a huge queue to see Mr. Beeple. Yeah. So
I didn't bother waiting.
can't do it.
You're a busy man.
Yeah.
Busy man, got places to be. Excuse me.
But yeah, you kind of touched upon, obviously, a little bit about some of the negatives. What are the negatives currently that people are presented with?
Proof of work. So proof of work is when you mint on a blockchain that uses computers to validate transactions, and that requires electricity. Lots of computers to do it, and that's where the energy comes in and the ecological argument comes in. It's annoying how that isn't highlighted. There's a difference between proof of work and proof of stake. So you get blockchains and artists on those blockchains like Damien Hirst, and you'd imagine they'd never want to be associated with bad press like that. So proof of stake is for different blockchains, because there are many different blockchains which work on human validation instead of computer validation. So for every, say if you want to mint an NFT or you want to acquire some cryptocurrency, you're going to be working with humans, and therefore less electrical output, and they're called green NFTs. So yeah, but that needs to be made more public.
Yeah.
So.
And you name dropped one of them before, didn't you, Tezos?
Yes.
Is very green.
Yeah. There are loads. There's like Polygon, and they're side chains. A lot of them. So they branch off Ethereum. So they are related to Ethereum in a light way, but they have their own protocols within.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, one of those aspects is of like negativity towards it is this whole mindset of NFTs are bad for the environment. And yeah, having a look into further blockchains for people to utilize, such as Tezos, will help people to start understanding actually we aren't just limited to this one version of crypto. There is multiple different types of cryptocurrency blockchains and protocols being developed to help people reduce the negativities of it all.
Yeah. It's even hard to talk about it. I mean, for us, because we don't work in cryptography, so to define every term and yet, it's really hard. It's really hard. It took a long time for me to figure it out, and it was a really steep learning curve over a year ago. Trying to learn what a crypto wallet is, like how do you get a crypto wallet? How do I buy crypto? And you're like, right, I've done that, and then I've done this. Is this? I mean, I was very confused. I thought, like, is this even like legal what I'm doing? But it is. So I'm glad.
There is those sort of initial learning curves, isn't there? Though you're right. I mean, do you remember that time we were in Manchester at the Manchester Art Fair with the NFTs?
Yeah.
And we were trying to scan POAPs, and there was the elderly bloke that came along, and he was like trying to scan it with his phone, so he knew he had to scan it, but they didn't have the wallet, which means
it's like without the wallet, you can't get the POAP. But who's gonna tell him that? You know, who's gonna? That needs clarity. Demystification.
Do you see that becoming part of banking systems as we know it? Do you think a wallet? Do you think wallet is the right term for it? Do you think, because people associate a wallet as something, you know, it's the money that they earn from the job that they do. You know, that's part of the economy. Whereas these wallets are obviously
they're in your browser.
They're full of all these coins that do all these different things. How do you see that becoming a bit more, I don't know, mainstream?
That is another excellent question. I mean, I don't. I suppose if people endorse DAOs more, then.
Come on, give us a quick rundown of DAO.
I mean,
before you carry on with
just to butt in. Have you seen the news about HSBC? They're basically
by Barclaycard, with
the first bank to move into the sandbox.
Interesting.
So
hang on, so they've acquired land.
They've acquired land
okay.
to be present as a bank within a metaverse.
Okay. Like the headline should say that. It shouldn't be like HSBC acquires land. There's another sort of adoption, is that you should be getting Telegraph, Daily Mail, Guardian articles saying HSBC joins the metaverse.
So this is interesting as well. I mean, it's not certain yet whether or not if you buy real estate in the metaverse, whether it'll be taxed or not in the same way as like real estate in real life. If you can have events in it which are as equally like lucrative and whatever, how is that going to be taxed? That's not clear yet, and who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
It's like I suppose I mean, for people own the houses, obviously in various parts of the world, they own the legal rights to it. When you have someone like Google driving around taking 360 photos and making Google Maps, Google's policy is that you're allowed to talk to them and go, "That's my property. I don't want it on there." When people start making scans, in the case of us,
I suppose to start the whole metaverse thing as well, I should say, like the metaverse, there are two kinds from what has been discerned. There's open and closed metaverses. So closed metaverses have existed for like the past 30 years. They're just like in-game engines that you can run your browser, run your game console.
You're talking about multiplayer games?
Yeah. So people always cite like Second Life as one, Roblox as well. It's weird.
Yeah.
I suppose
Minecraft now.
Minecraft.
You could go VR chat. I mean, that's a
VR
big thing.
Yeah. We like VR chat.
No.
And then there's open metaverses, which I mean, by that definition, it's open to blockchain interaction, and you can buy JPEGs. You can buy.
But I can just
buy your
NFT.
I can right-click save them. So you can buy NFTs in these open metaverses, and that is the alleged difference between the two. That is a hard one to pin down. People just see it as like an overarching term, but they don't know what's inside it, what quantifies it. So I hope that helps.
Well, I mean, when I've been on chats, on sort of broader sort of audience chats with members of the sort of crypto community who are working in metaverse platforms, a lot of the guys and girls who are in there, they basically talk about it in the same process of how you just talked about it, but they describe them as games, essentially. And the fact that it hasn't really arrived yet, true metaverse capabilities, it relies on the openness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Open source, essentially, something that can transact between multiple places, so that you can take that piece of clothing that you bought on Decentraland and move it into Sandbox.
But I guess that's purely down to time.
Yeah, it is
and development.
It literally is just down to time.
So
it is.
This is interesting. So relating to what you guys are doing, creating like digital fashion and artifacts for the metaverse, James and I went to Manchester Art Fair, and we listened to an Origin talk about digital fashion. And
name drop.
Based near us.
Yeah. The Nerf. And you raised a good point, like how are these artifacts going to be transferred between the metaverses, and
what are they going to be stored as?
What is the token that's going to ground that together? An interesting advancement is the Museum of Crypto Art has released, they call it Floor, their project. So you can buy real estate in Somnium Space, which is one of the open metaverses, so it's for NFTs. And
Somnium's the VR one, isn't it, as well?
Yes. Yeah. And from what I know, or at least I think I know, you can put NFTs in there in this space, and then that space or elements of it can be seen in other metaverses.
Cool.
That's one step towards it, right?
It's one step forward, and we need clarity on that front too. Which, I mean, you brought it up, James, so that was a really great question.
It's been there. I think it was recorded as well.
Yeah.
But I guess it is. It's all early days for it. There's going to be so much more development in the next 2 to 3 years that we're going to see all of our spaces kind of grow.
Well, the money's just flooding into it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Venture capital's actually woken up to it, and you've got the likes of Apple obviously trying to develop, and Microsoft, and Oculus obviously trying to develop the hardware.
Isn't Amazon as well?
Probably.
Disney as well.
Yeah, I know Disney is. Obviously, Amazon's got AWS, so they essentially are. They've got it sorted. They've got the back end and all the essentially the server hosting sorted, haven't they?
Yeah.
So they're going to win regardless. But do you know of any sort of developments with regards to large companies developing their own coins?
Yes. So Yuga Labs recently bought. So these are the guys who made Bored Apes.
Yeah.
Bored Ape Yacht.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
you saw.
Yeah.
They recently bought CryptoPunks, which was
They
like
bought them.
Yeah.
So just for clarity, CryptoPunks was one of the
They bought the brand, the whole
archetypal NFT projects. One of the they call them 10K projects. So there's like 10,000 individual artworks, and they all have slightly different elements based off of different attributes. So if you look at CryptoPunks, they are 40 by 40 pixels. They have just like slightly different like characters to them. One might have a headband, whatever. One might have a different top or a different background. But it was that project which launched collectible NFTs. What you think of NFTs at the minute as just being like avatars, but they got the people who made that project are called Lava Labs, and that's John Watkinson and Matt Hall in 2017.
Me?
Yeah, Lichester, it's you. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, so they also made a project called MeBits, which they are the same principle, but they're 3D objects which you can import into a voxel-based program, and you can animate them. So,
such as Sandbox.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I feel like you know that.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
So to get back, the people who made Bored Ape Yacht Club last year, which unique art style, shot up in a very short amount of time, and their floor price overtook CryptoPunks, which was very lucrative for a very long time, an archetypal project. They bought CryptoPunks and they bought MeBits this week, I think.
Yeah.
Or they announced it
earlier this week, which is
and they released,
March the 17th today.
Yeah, and then they released big company released their own token, which is like $8.
Literally in the last day.
Yeah,
so
just 18 hours ago.
Yeah, literally.
We had
the
a good.
day
We had
they've launched it or launching it.
Yeah, so to create your own coin as well. I mean, many different like DAOs. I'll get back to DAOs and properly define that.
We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah. Many people are making their own coins. So this is an interesting advancement. Most of you know, I mean, if you're aware of NFTs, Bored Apes are pretty prevalent in the community. So this is like really mega news.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Grounded Reality. We've had our guest Harry Martin.
Thank you very
on.
much for coming.
It's been lovely to see you.
And you too.
We'll have to get you on very soon again.
We'll get you on in March,
May. It's March now.
Yes, yeah, because I mean, Bad will be here.
Bad will be here.
Yeah, can have a Bad.
So we'll have a chat about that. But yeah, thank you for watching Grounded Reality. You can check it out on Spotify and all other major streaming platforms, and check out Syra.uk on Instagram and Syra.uk on our website as well.
We're keeping it in sync.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Ciao.
Bye.